Welcome to the Chamber Member Spotlight. This month we are at Transco. A lot of people have a lot of questions about Transco and the value to our community and what they do for us. So we stopped by and I got a few guests today. I've got Bob Rance, the production manager, Tyrell, the new plant manager here for 4 weeks, and Candace Collins, the human resource manager. So what we're going to do is ask some questions, walk through the facility. It's a huge facility, just looking at it real quick. And hopefully we can learn some things about Transco. Production, we're going to walk through the building real quick, and I guess some general knowledge of the building would be good. So Bob, how old is this building in general?
They started building this building in the late 1890s, finished it around 1904, 1903, somewhere around there. This building here was originally the Penn Central Railroad building. There's a locomotive shop. So they built locomotives in here. We still use the same overheads every single day. That's original overheads from the 1900s. We have a 30-ton and 10-ton. We use those every day. This building's probably about 125 feet or 125 yards long and probably about 60 foot tall in places. So it does have a lot of upkeep with it, being an older building, but it was definitely built to last.
So it's bigger. It's 25 yards bigger than a football field in length. Did you say 60-foot ceilings?
Yeah, about 60-foot ceilings.
A unique feature I'm seeing as we walk around is the floor.
Yeah, the floor is old brick floors, but they're wooden bricks, almost like a wooden block. With these here, it's almost like a floating floor back then. You dig these brick up, it's solid concrete underneath. So they did this for the cushion so the guys weren't walking on the concrete all day.
So in this building, we'll get into more specifics, but in this particular building footprint, are there two different operations, one different operation? Like what mainly is getting done in this building?
Okay, this building is all pretty much the same thing in this building. They're just different types of cars they're doing it to. We do any runner repairs, so any damage that the railroad does to these cars, we bring them in and we repair them. You can kind of look at us as a big body shop for train cars. Okay. That's for a way for a person to look at it. We do a lot of program work too, where we get more involved. I'll show you a little later on some of them cars. We get more involved in the detail, but a lot of these are like runner repairs. We do a lot of hopper cars, auto racks, any kind of freight car out there is what we actually work on. We do everything except for tank cars at this facility.
All right, great. Well, there's some general info about the building. We're going to keep moving on to see some operation, and we'll go from there. On down the line, I know Transco has 9 locations throughout the United States, I believe. What gets done here in Logansport specific?
Here in Logansport, we are a freight car shop. All of our other locations are a tank car shop. So here at the freight car shop, we work any kind of car that hauls freight. Like the car right behind us here is what we call a hopper car. This one here will haul fertilizer, will haul grain, beans, corn. The car over next to it is a scrap car. They haul a lot of scrap in them type cars there. And then the car over next to it is what they call a coil car. They haul rolled coil steels that come out hot. These are insulated hoods that send to the factory when they're making anything metal.
So are you the only freight car shop out of the 9 facilities?
That is correct.
So no matter where in your business line it happens, the breakdown, they get to here.
Yes, they're coming.
How do they get to here?
Okay,
if you have an issue with the train car, how does it physically get here?
I got you. Yes, we receive cars all over the U.S. They might shop them from California. So what that customer will do is they'll reach out to us, see if we can accept the car, and then they'll reach out to their railroad, which might be the BN, the CN, the NS, CSX, and then they communicate on switching through different railroads to get the car here. So we really have no part of that. That's all done on the backside.
Okay. Like what's the most common issue that a car would have to be brought to here? Like what's the most common issue that you fix on?
Most common issue with most of our cars are the railroad, what we call the coupler bypass. When they go to connect the two cars, they don't connect, and then they end up hitting each other. That's most of what we get. We do see some cars that are, well, we do see some cars that come in for truck hunting. Trucks is the wheel part, which everybody's seen issues in Ohio with the wheels and the problems they've had with derailment. So that's a big thing. The railroad out there, they have like indicators on the rail to let us know if the wheels are bad, and we can change the wheels out when they come in.
So turnaround time, like what kind of demand do your customers put on you for the situations you just mentioned? Are they expecting a 30-day turnaround, a 180-day turnaround?
It's usually around a 35-day turnaround is what they want. Depends on what kind of program it is. But yes, they're shooting for a 35-day turnaround time.
Okay, okay. Well, that's a little more about the freight car area. So we're going to keep moving on. Visual of a size of a freight car. I've been told they're 18 foot tall. I'm 6'2". No, I'm 5'8", so that shows you the enormous structure of these freight cars. So just want to give you a quick visual on what that looks like. We're outside the same facility we were just in, and looking around, it's makes me think that this was obviously built for this operation back in 1904, but there's some different characteristics that I'm kind of confused on. So like, what else was going on with this facility?
Yeah, back when they had this facility, when it was up and running, when the barges used to run through the Wabash River, you look at the beams up here, these beams used to run clear to the river. The 10-ton overhead inside would run all the way to the river, unload the barges, or they would be loading barges. It all depended what was coming in or coming off.
Okay. Fascinating. Do you think, when you probably know when that ended?
Well, actually, they ended up pulling all the beams. I don't know, when that actually ended, as far as when they were, I'm assuming shortly after they put Miss Cinewall in.
Okay. All right. Fascinating place. We're going to keep moving on. Well, we're in a new facility now, a different facility. And before we get into what goes on in this building, a couple questions for Candace. Again, Candace Collins, HR manager. First question, how many people are employed at Transco here in Logansport?
We've 100 total.
100, right on that number.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking to increase that number?
We are. They increased my head count by the end of the year. So in the shop, we currently have 78. We are a union shop. We have 78 right now, and they've increased my head count to be 92 by the end of the year.
So you're looking for another 14 or so by the end of the year to come work here at Transco?
Absolutely.
My first question would be, do you need to be a mechanic? Do you need to have special skills? Or are you just looking for some good people? Or what's the criteria?
Skills are always nice, but no, we will train. There's so much to learn in this position. You start out as a general laborer, and anybody that's willing to learn, to show up every day and just take the knowledge in from their coworkers, we will train them.
So it's more of like a mechanical mind.
Absolutely. That's one of the questions.
Not if they're good on cars, they could potentially be good on rail cars also.
Exactly. Yeah. If they're mechanically inclined, it's typically a question we ask them.
Okay. All right. Yep. Well, 100 people is pretty fascinating. That's again, you drive by and you just don't know, because the majority of them are inside or behind the fence. Yep. And I wouldn't know if there's 10 or 100, but 100's it's a very big impact for the community. So
absolutely.
Thank you for that, and good luck on the 14 more that you're trying to fill.
Signs are out front if you want an application.
Well, thank you. All right, we're back with Bob, the production manager. And now that we're in this other facility, we're going to ask the obvious question, what are you doing here? And looking around, I see a bunch of open rail cars, which Bob will explain further what happens at this point.
Yeah, in this building here, this is our CERT building. We do all of our CERT program in here. And what I mean by CERT program is we basically take these cars, strip them completely down, replace all rusted metal with brand new metal, reblast them, repaint them, and they come out the other end looking brand new. It usually, from start to end, usually takes about 12 days to complete that process. And that's where the process starts, is in here.
You have a goal of so many, what you called it CERT. Is that, how many per month or year are you looking to run through this area?
We've been running, our goal was set to run like 12 a month, and we've been running really close between, there's been some months we ran up to 18 a month. So it all depends on how heavy the cars are. Each of these cars, run about 450 man hours to go through. So it takes a lot of people employed to be working the cars to be able to turn them that quick.
And again, the length of time you would have, like this particular car, it comes in on September 1st.
Comes in on September 1st, time to get through the whole process of getting the car estimated, sent back to the customer to get the approval to work on it. Hopefully we'd have this car out by October 1st.
And it would look, at that point, it would look like?
It'll look brand new. When we get down to the end, our next building, I'll kind of show you what they look like coming out.
Are there color regulations or restrictions?
It all depends. No, it all depends on what the customer wants.
Okay.
Anymore, they're all just going with yellow.
Okay. Oh, a reason?
Well, the bottom, the rack is owned by different customers. This is actually two different customers' cars. The flats are always owned, not always, but most of the time are owned by TTX. TTX has a standard yellow they use. So instead of trying to have two different colors on the car, the customers decide just to go with the TTX color they go with.
All right, fascinating. That's in and out pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's good. That's cool. Well, we're going to keep moving on, and we'll see what's next. Okay, here we are in the last facility. This is the finished product area. I'm sure they have a better term for that, we'll learn. But as you see behind me is a car that's done now, as they call certified. And you mentioned every 15 years they have to go through this. Go over some of the specifics here. I just asked you a question about why the gaps, why the holes, that you can actually see the cars when they're going by you. This is a car freight, and you can get a number of cars on there. You can go through that too. But again, why the layout of the steel here?
The reason they have the layout like they do, you can't have anything solid. These cars are so long and so tall, they got to be able to flex. If it was solid steel, the metal would be cracking everywhere. So that's why they went with these type of side screens on these cars. On these cars here, each car will hold about 12 automobiles per car. They'll hold 6 on the first deck and 6 on the upper deck. Also, these cars here, when we bring it over to this stage, on the inside of these cars, there's a tie-down system. It's like a block that fits underneath there that keeps the cars from moving around. Even though they're in park, they can still move around, shift a little bit. It just kind of holds them in place. So once the car comes over to hit this spot, the guys finish up. This is where it leaves here, and we will hopefully don't see it again for another 15 years.
So the car leaves here. How logistically does that? Are you responsible for getting it out of here? Or are they responsible for getting it?
Yes, kind of both.
Okay.
We're responsible for getting it onto the track that we switch with NS. NS is our main provider. So we will take it out, put it on the track for them to switch out. I communicate with them, let them know we are ready for a switch, and then they'll come over that night and switch us out throughout the night.
Okay. And of all the cars that you certify, you mentioned this one's for cars, and you can get up to 12. What else is a good example that you would work on, and what's your most popular car that you turn around? Okay,
our most popular car that we've always done in the past, ever since the early 90s, has been auto rack. So it's been this type of car here we get most of. We do have other programs we are working on. We got a grain car program that we're totally redoing. Pretty much just like these, taking out any of the bad metal, straighten anything that needs to be straightened, and run them through blast paint. So they're coming out brand new looking. These are grain hoppers. We also got a bunch of, just not long ago, got like 13 or 14 lumber cars in. So we do have different programs of different types of cars coming through.
Okay. And a lot of work's done, and you mentioned a lot of man hours and hours period. We haven't really gone over the hours of your operation. Are you 1 shift, 2 shift, 3 shifts? Like, what's production? Like, what's a normal day look like, if there is a normal day?
There's never a normal day. Most of our employees do work first shift. We just started up about a year ago, maybe a little less than a year, a third shift. Just on the cert side, just to help kind of get them cars moving, to get them through blast a little bit quicker. We're hoping that by this time next year, we have that third shift just mirroring our first shift, and we can just maybe get out twice as many certs while we're doing it. So instead of getting an average of 14, 15 certs a month, we're hopefully pushing 25, 30 a month.
Great, great. Well, we've seen them how they get here and now how they get out of here and how they look nice when they leave. Well, we hope you learned a lot more about Transco. As you can see, Transco, a big part of the community. As we were told, 100 employees, strong, looking for more. They've been here since 1904, so they're a big part of Logansport's train history. We hope they're here for another 100 years. I do want to thank Candace Collins, Bob Rance, and Tyrell, the new plant manager. Congratulations and good luck. We just thank you for everything you do, and great interview and great tour of the facility. We learned how freight's brought in from start to finish and what it does for the United States, not just Logansport. So thank you for being part of the Chamber Spotlight.